So hello friends and welcome to this video tutorial. In this tutorial I intend to show you two ways in which you can calculate depreciation or model depreciation on Excel spreadsheets using those two options that I'm going to give you. So the first one is one that we're mostly used to. It is one that we constantly see every time. So let's talk in the face of data. So I'm going to have years here. I'm going to have capital spend, and that's fine. I'm going to have this. And what I want to do is I'm going to create just some years that we can work with. So we want to have different years, and in those different years, we want to have what the capital spend is, and we're going to depreciate it over time. Just simple as that is, okay? So I'm going to be using a function, one of the new functions in Excel, and that's the sequence function. So the sequence function, I just want to create a sequence of years. You get it. So and we're going to look at it. So it says rows. How many rows do I want? So actually I'm going to be on one row. So I just need to just put one there. Now how many columns? I'm going to need about let's say 7 columns. Let's see what that will give us. So 7 columns. I'm going to be starting from 2024 as the year, and I want the years to increment by 1. So that's what I get, and that's what comes up. Now for the capex spend or capital spend, what I would do is to use the round between function, and I'm just going to round between 250 and 450. Now why I'm doing that, because we just want to use small numbers and then see how this calculation works over time. So I'm going to just extend it here. So I've been able to generate random numbers for all of the years. You get it? So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to have some useful life, and here. So notice that these are changing as I update any other cell. So if I have a useful life of 4 here, I have a useful life of 4 here, you can see it changes. So I'm going to stop that. I'm going to just copy all these numbers and I'm going to paste them as values. So how do I do that? After selecting them and copying them, I'm just going to do my Alt HVV. Alt HVV just converts them to text. So if I do my Control Z now, you can see that we have a formula there, and Control Y, you can see that I have numbers there. I've succeeded in changing them to numbers, to just the values. Okay, so that's it there. So the traditional way that we usually use in calculating it is to um, in models we'll have them in rows like this, but I want to just transpose them, and we have also a new Excel formula function rather, which is TOCOL, which is like columns. It takes an array and then presents it in columns. So I'm just going to go select the array of numbers there. I don't really have anything I should be putting inside this function now. So I'm just going to close it and then hit my enter button. So you can see that it tends to transpose it and give it to us this way. So I'm going to do the same thing to code and to the values here, and then so I have them here. So somehow I have my years that are here. I'm going to just align them to the right, and same with this. I have my values. I want to call them values here, and I'm going to have my annual, let me just call it my annual depreciation. And my annual depreciation is actually the total value for any given year divided by 4. So I'm going to just lock this by 4 here, So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get the values. What would be the value I would be, depreciating as the years go by? Because it's straight line and it's equal, so it's going to be the same value that I'm going to be depreciating over time. Okay, so that is what I already have here. All right. Just for the sake of looks, let me just make this one bold, and there we have it. So what I'm going to do here now, I'm going to now calculate to try to get what I'm depreciating for each of the year. And so there might be many ways you can do that, but this is just one way in which we can achieve that. We want to find the minimum. We want to find the minimum between two things, and that minimum is the minimum of this value, what I should be amortizing every year. I'm going to find the minimum of that, and remember, I need to lock it to that column because it will always be looking at that column. The minimum of that and the minimum of the total value, I'm going to lock it to that column. That's with a dollar sign at that column there. So I'm going to find this minus the sum of whatever I have been depreciating in the past. So what I do is to build as if it were a cumulative sum of all that I have been depreciating in the previous periods. And to do that, I need to just lock this one. I need to just lock it with a dollar sign there. So I'm saying stick to this column, and that's this column. So for the first year, nothing has been depreciated in the previous period. You get it, but it is going to be getting as if it were a cumulative sum of everything, subtracting it from the total value and finding what is left. So that's what is left is compared with the annual depreciation, and then it returns the minimum of whatever it is. So you can see that in display. Let's just hope that all is fine. If we do this, you can see that just after 4 years, nothing comes in. You get it. After 4 years, nothing comes in. You get it. So that's exactly what it does. So let's see if we copy this one down like this. So we'll be able to get it amortizing in this different form. So one way that you can, verify this, let's just go somewhere else and then check if the sum of all of this is equal to the total value here. So I've got a true. I have everything is true. So it's been able to, divide them into 4 different years. But the problem that we have here is that for the second year, 2025, depreciation does not start from the first year. Definitely it doesn't start from 2024 because we've not bought those, we've not expended that capital expenditure yet. So what we want to do is a situation where it starts from the year in which that expense was incurred. You get it? And so to do that, I would just want to do something in separate place. So we're going to just say this cell that has 2024, and I'm going to lock it to that row. I don't want it to get off that row. I want to find if it's greater or equal to this one that is here. So I'm also going to lock it, but this time to the column. I'm going to lock it to that column, and then I'll just hit this and check what is happening. So it is telling me that yes, that at any point, for example, this point, it's telling me 2025 is actually greater. You get it, greater than 2024, because we're talking about greater or equal to 2024. So that looks fine. and I'm going to just copy that down, and then we'll see what exactly is happening. So you can actually see what is happening if I should do this, multiply by 1 and down. So when it's false, it is 0, and when we come here, so you can see that descent that happens, and it tells us that actually we are considering the start of the year when we incurred an expense. Okay, so what I'm going to do is actually come here and multiply this with this value here, and I'll just copy down and this way. So we just format it so you can quickly see how the numbers are coming in. So this is how it comes. So this starts from the first year. 4 years after it completes, it's been depreciated completely. Then the second one starts, and just like that. So you get this kind of, you get it model on your spreadsheet. So this is one of the most common, approach to calculating depreciation, because here you now find out that the total here, becomes this, and like this. Let's just make it bold for you to see it, and maybe I just use this here. Okay, so here it is, and for the different years, this is what it is. Maybe we just apply this, make it bold, and just for the sake of looks, but not much. So that is just what it is. Now this is quite long. I always don't like it to have this that long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this this formula here. I don't need the multiplication by 1, because Excel understands that true is 1 and false is 0. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to come in here, and you see this multiplication that is happening here. I'm not going to have this here. I'm going to paste this. So it's the same thing. It's just that my formula looks a little longer, but I now have them in one cell. So I'm just going to do this, copy it down, Control D copies it down, and this way Control arrow copies it to this other point. So I can do away with these guys. And everything is working fine. So this I would call option one, and let's just have that's option 1, and let's try to see what I'm trying to introduce to you with option 2. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just replicate this. This is what I want, and here, so we're just going to work on this. This is going to be option 2 here. Okay, and so for option 2, what we're going to do is we're going to we will still have these values, and we will still have this 4, but another thing I just want to add to it is this. Okay, so we're going to have what I might call relevant period count. Relevant period count. Now you're going to understand what I mean by relevant period count when we start to calculate it and give you what exactly it is. Now here I'm just trying to say that I'm going to use a function called a count, and what I'm just going to do is count this. Now what I want to do is I want to count cumulatively. And so once again, you can see I'm putting my dollar sign um, in the first reference in the cell, and this is what it does. So this is what it does. Just because of that dollar sign there, what it actually does is that here it is counting just this cell. When you come here, it is counting two cells, and that's it. And because it's got something inside, it's counting it that way. And just like that, it counts them and so on like that. So till the seventh cell. But what I want to do here, when I mean relevant period, is that if I should if I should incur a spend, a capital spend in the first year, it's going to be depreciating up till the fourth year. Now, if I should acquire or carry out the capital spend maybe in the third year, it's going to spill 4 more years into the future, and that is up to the sixth year. But even at the sixth year, I want you to recognize that this asset has a useful life of 4 years and should be depreciated for 4 years. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just tell Excel that, look, you can give me any number less or equal to 4, but when it goes higher beyond 4, you should also return 4 for me. And so to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to ask for the minimum of this value that I have here, comma, and this value. So I'm going to lock it to that 4 years there. And then, and this is what I have. Okay, so you can see that after 4 years, it continues 4, 4, 4, 4, 4. Now, there's a reason why I'm doing that, because here I want to just calculate depreciation in just one row, just this one row. This is the depreciation. Depreciation values. So I want to calculate the depreciation values here. And this is the essence of this video. Sorry. Okay. Just want to make it bold. Okay. So here, and I want you to watch carefully because I'm using one of the new functions in Excel called the take function. What exactly the take function does, let me just explain to you what the take function does. So if I should do a take, and I have this 4 here, that's the array. They are all in one column, so I really don't need to have any column specified there, or the number. Sorry, I really don't need to specify any number of rows because they are in one row rather. So, but if you look at it, I have columns. So I've just selected 4 columns here. You get it. So if I should have 4 here and I hit my enter, it's going to give me all the 4 of them. If I should come here and say I need just 2, it's going to give me just 2 of them. Now, the interesting thing about the take function is that if I tell it to give me -1, you get it, -1. So you can see it's giving me 4. So what exactly it's doing is that it's looking at all of the 4 numbers and giving me the last value in that arrangement there. So those of you who do use pandas Python, you most likely will understand what we're trying to do here. And that's quite interesting that we've got a function that can do exactly this. So what I want to do is exploit this behavior of the take function to calculate depreciation. And this is how it goes. So I'm going to just take this out. Here I'm going to put the take function, open a bracket, and I'm going to select just the first cell. And I'm going to, just as we were doing cumulative sums, and I'm going to put a $sign just behind the first reference. So what it actually does, this is the array, you get it. How many rows do I want to use? I really don't need that. That's not important for me. You get it. So how many columns How many columns should I be looking at? Actually, I'm looking backwards. So definitely I know I'm going to have a minus. And then how many columns do I want to look? I'm going to see point. I'm going to see point to this. So sorry, I ought to be looking at this reference in my array. Those are the values I want to depreciate. And then here, I'm going to be using this. So I don't need to lock any reference because it's going to flow. So what I'm telling it to do is look back one, backwards. And then when I copy it, it's going to be looking back 2, looking back 3, looking back 4, and 4, and 4, and just like that. So, but if I should hit my enter button, you can see it's giving me the first value. But if I should copy it down here, I'm going to have some problems. I'm going to have errors coming in. So I'm saying this because you likely might see this when you're calculating it. Now, what we the problem why you have these spills is because each function expects to spill through a number of cells. And but what is happening now, I've got other formulas in those cells where it ought to spill to, so that really would not work. Now the thing about it is that I'm going to wrap this in a sum function, and that should be able to solve all our issues. So now this is what we have. You can see what we have here. So let us understand what is happening here. So here it's taking the first formula, first value, capital Spain. Here it's taking the sum of these two values. And then when you just go further, it's taking the sum of these three values and then the sum of these four values. That's why you see that 1275 is 1275 in what has been selected so far. Now, when it gets to the fifth value, it excludes the first 2024. It excludes it because it's gone through its 4 years and it has been fully depreciated. So you can see that it's taking 1277, and that's the sum of the 4. You get it, the 4 that it has here. So you can see though it selects 5, but it's picking just the 4 values that are relevant to our calculation of depreciation. You see, so that is exactly what it does. So to finally complete this calculation, what we do is just divide this by this 4 here. So I'm going to lock the reference there, just divide it by this, and then like this. So what do you notice? You would notice that although here I've used more rows to make my calculation, this can be done with fewer rows, like you can see here. It can be done with fewer rows, and you will still get the value of it. Now, one interesting thing about this is that assuming I'm doing for 10 years or 15 years, you're going to have more rows using the option 1. But with option 2, irrespective of the number of years, I'll just be using only this number of rows to calculate and get my value over time. So it's it depends on you for you to ask yourself which are you comfortable with, and then use that in doing your modeling. So you can see that we get the same values irrespective of the way in which we have done our calculations. So this is the essence of this video. I just wanted to show you, and so you can make a choice of what you might love to use in your modeling of depreciation. So you can look at it in so many ways. Look through all the different methods by which depreciation is calculated and see which can be used in here. You get it, which can be used in here. And then you could choose to adopt them and use them. I hope you learned something from this video. We have been able to learn about 3 new Excel functions and how we can use them in financial modeling, like sequence, like the TOCOL and the take function, and how we can manipulate them using references here. And we have also seen two ways by which we can compute depreciation. I will be with you in another lesson and hope to see you there. Thank you very much.